All right, we're gonna keep this one stupid simple. One of these days, I'll get to the point where I'm like actually editing and showing like footage from games and stuff, but I don't have the time for that right now, so we're just gonna keep rolling with the slideshow format because it's working pretty okay right now. So I was just sort of ruminating the other day about the areas that I think would be cool, or areas or regions or locations, villages, whatever. Some of these are pretty odd. Places that I would consider, living. Like, perhaps I was playing a game and I just stopped and I looked around and I said, hey, this is pretty nice. There's something about this place that I find pretty charming. Some of them are more obvious. Most of them I think are pretty obvious. I don't think that these are, again, I don't think these are particularly far-fetched, similar to my previous video. So we're gonna roll with this, and let's just go through. There's gonna be a lot of Nintendo IPs on here, probably quite a few Zelda, but there's some good ones in there that I think are kind of fun and unique too. So let's start. First and foremost, let's just get it out of the way. I did it again. I accidentally pressed stop recording. Anyway, let's get it out of the way. First and foremost, I don't think that was supposed to be first. Animal Crossing, the Animal Crossing Island, specifically in New Horizons, but any of the regions or any of the Animal Crossing locations from any of the games, I'd be thrilled. Just Animal Crossing New Horizon because it's the most recent that I've played. And I like the island vibe. There's going to be a theme there that I didn't recognize until I made this slideshow, but we'll get to that. There's just something about the idea of, living on such an idyllic... I mean, this is a gimme. This is obvious. It's incredibly charming. There's fun animal characters. You get to build things, make things. People always give Tom Nook crap. They're like, oh, he's so greedy. That guy builds you a house with a debt that you pay back with 0% interest. You can live in that house forever and never pay back the debt, and you will never have a single issue throughout your entire life. So I don't know. It seems kind of cool. He never nags you about it. He's got stuff to do. Anyway, I think it'd be a great place to live. There's parties, all sorts of fun events going on all the time. The weather's pretty much always perfect, but you get a nice seasonal year-round change. All 4 seasons. It just seems nice. I just think, again, look, you get to do your gardening, you get to do all this, hang out with fun villagers. I think it'd be a tremendous place to live, and I think this one's the most obvious, which is why I kind of put it first. Let's keep going. What's next? Okay, we've got some Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom. Look at this high-res image right here. It's hard to find pictures online of some of these, especially the Zelda locations. Lurelin Village, again, another tropical place. That's 2 tropical places. Put a counter up. 2 tropical places. I don't know. There's something about this. It's really just an extraordinarily homey place. I find it to be really charming. I find, again, the tropical aesthetic to be really wonderful. Not to mention it's one of my favorite regions in the game. I think the road to Lurelin is such a cool passage. I don't know. I think it speaks for itself. It's a beautiful tropical island paradise. Obviously, it's a very small population, so there is that. But if we're talking just pure aesthetic, it's a winner for me. All right, what's next? Okay, we're continuing with Zelda. This is fun. I say what's next. I made this, but I don't remember what order these are in. Hateno Village from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, there's something so rustic about this place, from the almost Spanish... I hesitate to call it Spanish. It's mostly just the fact that it's red roofs and tan walls. But the architecture is really charming. It's very simple. The layout has a fun verticality to it that I think would be really cool. The area itself is just stunning. I think about going on morning or evening walks. I'm big into walks. I'm a big walking guy. I think about doing morning and evening walks here. It's great. You get a donkey or a horse. You go right up, crisscross up the switchbacks up there to the science lab at the top, hang out up there. I don't know. It just seems really great. I think it would be a wonderful place to live. There's cool ponds. They have, and then they have a school there. In the second one, they have a school there. It just seems great. It seems like a cool, nice, peaceful place to live. I like that. I think that my taste in places to live has been severely, significantly informed by the Shire from Lord of the Rings, but that's obviously. All right, what do we got next? More Zelda, but we're going to pivot to Twilight Princess. This is the worst image. But I love Ordon Village in Twilight Princess. Maybe it's the pumpkins, I don't know. It's the tree house sort of aesthetic that they've got going on. I love the big old pond lake thing that they have. It just seems like simple living, simple country folk. I think I have another couple other images. Yeah, it just seems like, I'm blocking it in the bottom left there, but don't worry about it. It's just Link's treehouse. I guess, you know what? I can, look at that, real-time editing. I think it's so charming. I love the lighting, and the lighting in Twilight Princess does so much. They did a great job of capturing the twilight, but I don't know. I think it would be a tremendous place to live. I would really like it. So I really don't have anything to say about that. This one speaks for itself as well. We're gonna keep going. Okay, continuing with the Zelda, we have Skyloft from Skyward Sword. I understand that there might be reservations about living in the sky. You know, what if you fall off? That's what the patrol is for. I don't know if you've ever played the game, but the patrol will save you if you fall off without having a bird. So, plus you get a bird. If you're, you know, part of the culture here, you get a bird that you get to fly around on. You can go settle on your own island if you really want. But this Skyloft has always felt so vibrant to me. If Twilight Princess is on the more grounded side of fantasy, Skyward Sword has always been on the more cartoony, fantastical, you know, colorful side of things, and I find that to be really charming and endearing. I like the you know, they seem to be devoted. They've got a really cool religious statue, you know, a bunch of devoted people. There's old people, there's kids, there's a Knights Academy. You know, they've got programs, right? It seems like a cool place to live. It's got at least a degree of infrastructure. And yeah, it has cool little caves you can go exploring. Plus it's got, you know, silly fun like rumors and you know, it feels like a good community. So anyway, we're gonna keep rolling. What's next? Oh, here we go. Bit of a dark horse pick. Majula from Dark Souls 2. I love this place. I showed this to my mom, this region, and I had a heck of a time like explaining this to someone who has not played Dark Souls 2 or doesn't know anything about Dark Souls 2. Like, how do you explain what makes Majula so special? Obviously the music is tremendous. Now, I don't imagine that the music would actually be playing if I was there in real life, but and it could just be the fact that Majula stands as such a stark contrast compared to the rest of the game, which is so brutal and painful and wonderful in a horrible way. I love Dark Souls 2. Actually, technically, I never played it. I watched my brother play it, but I was there for the whole ride, okay? So, but I love Majula. I think there's something about this coastal, again, another coastal. There's a lot of coastal going on here. This coastal perpetual sunset region that it's so peaceful. It feels so old. It feels so ancient and quiet. And I feel like it would be the sort of place that I would retire to and say, all right, this is a fixer-upper. We're gonna turn this place into my little home. You know, obviously the houses are a little worse for wear. I doubt that the lady's gonna be there. I don't know about, are there like pigs or something? There's like pigs or something that wander around Majula and they attack you. Whatever, that's bacon. It's fine. Anyway, Majula. Lovely place, super beautiful, super peaceful, really cool. All right, let's keep rolling. Okay, pivot. We're hard pivoting to Nepal. Nepal from Overwatch. I always have loved this map. I love the maps in Overwatch. I think they're really fun to just explore and look around. I would love, you know, in any Austin type video, just looking at the maps Overwatch, because I think that they're really, really unique. I couldn't tell you anything about like whether there's any content there, but Overwatch has such an interesting array of maps, and Nepal has always been one of my favorites. There's a lot that I love about it. I love that it's up in the mountains. I love the monastery vibe of it. The interior I think is really, really cool. The blend between the mystic and the technologic I think is really neat as well. I love the colors, the blues, the yellows, you know, the white. It all sort of works really well together. Yeah, I just think it would be a cool place to go and live and study and work, you know, live a sort of isolated monastery kind of lifestyle. I think it'd be a cool place to do that in. So, all right, what's next? I think it's another Overwatch map. Yep, Ilios. Now, this is based off of a real location in Greece. I don't think it's named Ilios. I think it's, what's it called? I don't know. There's a place in Greece. Maybe it is called Ilios. I don't think so, but there's a place in Greece, and it felt kind of cheap to do this one because it's based off a real place, but that doesn't change the fact that I think that Ilios is super beautiful. Pardon the low res image. The blue roofs, the terrace sort of structure of it, the kind of cliffside appeal. I feel like this place would be the ultimate summer getaway. I've always wanted to go to Greece in real life, but you know, I will fulfill that fantasy for now by playing Overwatch. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, let's keep rolling. Okay, this was the one that kicked this. Actually, I just remember this is the one that kicked off this whole idea for this slideshow in the first place. I made this slideshow a couple months back, but I was watching my sister play through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and the original, the remake, and Aerith's home was so immediately charming. And there's some, I'm a sucker for nature reclaiming, you know, modern technology or architecture, infrastructure, right? And you kind of get little bits of that here and there. I could understand how someone might look at this and think, oh, but those ugly pipes and everything. I don't know. There's something about the pipes that to me adds a wonderful contrast to the overgrown vegetative or vegetation that sort of just creeps all over on this. I love the river and pond in the middle. I think that would be so cool to be able to just like jump and swim around on a toasty day. Plus, the interior of Aerith's home is really sweet. I think this is like a remodel that someone made on like Blender or something. I could be wrong. Maybe this is ripped straight from the game. But I love the sort of round design of the home. I love how it spirals upwards. It's got a very whimsical sort of feel to it. So, really nice. Really cool place. I would love to live here. No notes. Great. I mean, it's a little dark inside, but that's fine. All right, we're continuing with Final Fantasy VII. We were again playing through it, and my sister and I, we got to the Gongaga region. We got to the village, and we were like, man, I love these funky nipple houses. You know, it kind of remind me of yurts a little bit, but more permanent. This region is just really pretty. Again, kind of tropical. Harkens a little bit to the Lurelin region in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't know. I guess there's just something about that appeals to me. The tropic, the warm, which is funny because I don't like warm weather. It's summer right now. It's been like in the 90s, mid to high 90s all the last like 3 or 4 weeks. It's finally going to start going down. Like next week, it's going to be a little rainier and a little bit cooler. It might just be temporary, but I'm not built for the heat. I lived in the desert for some time. Never again. Never again. I like the cold and the snow and the autumn. That is for me. That said, something about this region really appeals to me. Again, I think a lot of these appeal to me because of the sort of rustic, simplistic way of life. That's something that I'm drawn to and interested in, I guess, and I fantasize about, right? Escaping the hustle and bustle and the rat race, right? I really find this super charming, so I would happily live in a cool brick yurt here. I think that it kind of almost, they look like ziggurats a little bit, like with the way that the roofs are textured and domed. But anyway, also the music for this region is really cool. All right, I just realized my camera's covering up Kate Sith. A wee little Scottish boy. All right, let's continue. All right, we're gonna go into Skyrim now. I think there's a few Skyrim locations. Riften. Now I know, if you're familiar with Skyrim, your knee-jerk response might be, "Ooh, Riften, Thieves Guild." I argue against that by saying, what location in Skyrim does not have some weird, dark, seedy underbelly thing going on? You've either got the conspiracy, the Forsworn conspiracy, you got the weird werewolf thing going on, or you got, the Thieves Guild, or whatever, right? Something's going on in something's going down in every settlement, town, or city, or region in Skyrim. But if we're talking just pure aesthetics, and the region itself, I've always loved Riften. I remember walking through this on my first playthrough and thinking, wow, why isn't the rest of the game this doggone pretty? Because I was so enamored by that sort of aspen, the golden leaves and the winding rivers that kind of went, oh man, it was just, even now I'm just like, oh, that's where I want to be. That's so nice. It's so warm. It's so inviting. And so much of the rest of Skyrim is so cold. So I just really love the architecture of Riften as well. Very classic sort of, this Nordic design. But I love the bridges that sort of crisscross over the canals. We could do without the unfortunate, sewers that are underneath where all of the poor people go. That's not so great. But, that said, really beautiful region. Okay, continuing with Skyrim. Riverwood. I mean, come on. Look, you got these thatched roofs. It's so idyllic. I think this might be modded. It definitely doesn't look this good normally. But, yeah, there's pumpkins. Those jack-o'-lanterns are definitely not there. It's Halloween. Whatever. It's fine. Riverwood's just super charming. It's much smaller, obviously, than Riften and most of the other big cities. But I'm not against that. Let's keep rolling. Whiterun, of course. How could you not love this place? The tiered structure. I like tiers, I guess, is what I'm learning. T-I-E-R, not T-E-A-R. Tiers, Minas Tirith, things like that. I love structures, settlements, villages, whatever that are built like that. I think that's really cool. I love the super tall and steep architecture and buildings and roofs that are in Whiterun. I think it's the most fleshed out town. It actually has like farms on the outside. There's a lot going on inside. It has a proper like castle longhouse, but it's not Solitude or Markarth or anything crazy like that. It's a little more down to earth. It always, everyone loves everyone loves Whiterun. It's it's everyone always goes there. It's the best. So Whiterun, super pretty. Oh, I love this garden area. I think this would be super pretty to explore and hang out. You could listen to the guy preaching about Talos, for hours and hours. Forever. That sounded almost more like Dracula. Anyway, super cool. Love Whiterun. Yeah, look at the Dragon's Reach. That's what it's called, right? Dragon's Reach. So cool. You can hang out with the skeleton that's in the water around here, or wherever he is. Awesome. I mean, it's just sick. Whiterun's sick. Okay, let's take a hard left. We are now in Super Mario Galaxy, the Beach Bowl Galaxy. I can hear the music. Da-da-dun, dun-da-dun. Anyway, they got penguins here. Yes, it's a little liminal, there's something about the fact that it's just this thing in the sky where there's nothing else. That's a little like weird, but I don't know, there's something about that I find to make it makes it rather cozy. It makes it sweet that it's so this little dense island of life in the middle of nothing. And there's penguins. Again, there's cool tropical penguin guys. And you get to hang out and you get to swim with them, and it just seems like a cool place to be. That's really the long and short of it. Okay, again, another tropical place, Destiny Island from Kingdom Hearts. I have only played maybe a couple hours of Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna try it again. I want to. I really kind of bounced off of it a little bit. But I think that once I finish playing all of the many Final Fantasy games that I have, I have so many. I spent like 2 hours today just playing Final Fantasy 6, and then I stopped and said, oh, then I have to play 9, and then 10, and then I have to beat 16, and then I have to play 12 and 13 and 14, and it's a lot. There's a lot. There's so many Final Fantasy games. I don't have that much time. Anyway, Destiny Island. I love the tropical vibe. I love the big trees. There's a mysticalness to this that I really enjoy too. I almost put some of the Wind Waker ones on, but I was starting to think that I had too many islands and too many tropical locations, so I stopped. But know that like Outset and Windfall, they were gonna be on this list. Let's keep going. Okay, this is a weird one. I had to really think about which kingdom from Super Mario Odyssey I would include. And I understand that this probably isn't the pick that most people would go for. You'd think, why not Fossil Falls or even New Donk City or Lake Lamode or the beach? Well, the reason I didn't pick the beach, what's it called? Anyway, the reason I didn't pick the beach was because I had too many beaches. And in truth, I've always been drawn to Sand Kingdom. It's funny, I literally, not 4 slides ago, I was telling you how I would never ever live in a desert again. Well, this one's cold. See, there's ice. But I don't know. There's something about this place that I find to be magnetic. I really don't know what it is. I wish I could tell you. I do, but I don't know. Maybe it's the funky little Toasterina guys. Maybe it's the extremely colorful nature of the town, or the red sand, or the rolling dunes. Maybe it's the Jaxies, or the little oasis, or the cool architecture and ruins. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really don't know, but I think that living here would be very cool. Let's keep going. Okay. Valentine, Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, yes, this is just a place in history. If I just wanted this, I'd just go back 200 years, not even 150. and this is what life would be like. Yes, it probably stinks like horses. People probably get shot and all sorts of bad things happen because that's, Wild West, right? But sue me, Red Dead Redemption did a good job of selling me on Valentine. I think it's beautiful. I spent some time in the... I hesitate to say it. It's funny because they call the Midwest, but it really doesn't feel like the Midwest. Anyway, I guess this is just the West. But the sort of Jackson, Wyoming, northern Idaho, that region feels a lot like this, especially like near the Tetons, anyway. So there's a nostalgic nature to this, because I really love those regions in real life. But it's just a cool cowboy town. That's really it. You get to ride around, you get to dress up, and you get to talk in a funky voice. I think that's pretty cool. So let's keep going. Okay. All right. Naboo, Battlefront 2, but also just in general, Naboo. I love Naboo. I think it's so cool. Again, this is kind of cheating because this is from a movie, but whatever. It's fine. It's in a game. I can say this. Naboo is beautiful. It is so pretty. The architecture is incredible. I know a lot of this is straight up ripped from real life. I know that those big staircase that's in the Phantom Menace, that's just a real staircase that's in Europe somewhere. I don't know. But I love the blue roofs that are kind of aquamarine. I love Naboo is also just the most beautiful planet, like in all of Star Wars. It's so pretty. I'm sure that it's really, well, have you considered Christophsis or whatever? I don't think anyone thinks Christophsis is pretty, at least not like this. It's just cool. It's got giant buildings. I love domes. I'm a sucker for domes. Anytime there's big domes, super cool. Mega domes. Mega marble. That's a reference. Love it. I think Naboo's awesome. All right, I think there might just be one more after this, and it's going to be a weird one. It's not even necessarily my favorite, but I find it to be extremely drawing. I'm drawn to it. Nope. Okay, this is not the last one. I lied. This is obviously beautiful. The Golden Temple in Ghost of Tsushima. I love yellow trees, man. Yellow leaves, they're so pretty. Also, again, it's a safe haven, right? This is a safe haven location in games. I'm automatically drawn to that. I almost considered putting some of the ones from like Silk Song, like Bellheart, or the Songclave, but I just didn't, for whatever reason. But I did consider it. The Golden Temple of Ghost of Tsushima is so pretty. It's so pretty. I love all the leaves all over the ground. It's got a cool sense of, survival community. Very cool. All right. Is this next one the last one? Nope, I lied. Ripto's Rage. The Summer Forest from Ripto's Rage. Growing up, I played this back on and there's a reason I used pictures from the PlayStation 1 version and not from the remaster or remake. The remake's good. It's a good game, but there's something lost. In the art direction. There's something about the original glowing ambiance and atmosphere and the summertime colors and just the way it all looks that feels like home, And again, this is probably nostalgia speaking because I grew up playing Spyro and Ripto's Rage was like my favorite. But, oh man, I just want to nap under that tree. I just want to nap under that tree and hang out and go swimming in the water and look at this cool sort of white dome. I'm gonna die. My love of domes is too strong. These domes, once again, we're seeing domes. I love domes. I don't know. I guess that's a thing with me. I'm learning a lot about myself in these last few days, both from the last slideshow and this one. Let's keep rolling. After Ripto's Rage, Spyro Summer, we got Corvo Bianco in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I mean, it's like this, it's beautiful. It's a vineyard in this sort of Mediterranean inspired French Italian mashup, and it's beautiful. It's a stunning region. You get an entire estate. I don't drink wine. I don't drink, but you could do something with the vineyards. Maybe just let someone else run it. I'll profit off of it. It's fine. But it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Oh man, I love it. All right. This one, there's not a lot of locations in games that have utterly and completely wowed me, like stopped me in my tracks, kind of like, whoa. The Fountainhead Palace in Sekiro was one of those. Sekiro is a beautiful game, and it's got some beautiful locations. Fun fact, Sekiro is also the game that made me realize that I have a deep-rooted fear of large snakes. I never knew that about myself. I never once knew that about myself. All my life I was like, I don't have a phobia of anything. There's nothing that I'm like scared of. When I played Sekiro, there's the sequence where you meet the giant snake, and he just shows up. I didn't know anything about this game. I'd never seen anything about it. Everyone's like, you gotta play it if you like, Dark Souls. It's from Software. Go play it. I was like, okay. So I go and I play it. I get to that region, and I remember I was at my old place. I was in the basement. It was dark. I had my headphones on and everything, and then this snake shows up right into the camera, and I threw my headphones off and I pushed my chair back, and I didn't even realize that I'd done it. I have never had such a visceral reaction to anything in a video game before. There's being scared of like horror games and stuff, and then there's whatever that was. I don't know what that was. That was a legitimate, like, just bodily reaction. Okay, back to the Fountainhead Palace. Look at this. The cherry blossom sort of trees. I love the cascading waterfalls. There's tears here. See seeing the tears? Once again, there's like a criteria now. It's water. It's either lakeside, poolside, riverside, or beachside. A lot of tropical stuff. There's tiers and there's domed buildings. There's no domed buildings in this one, not that I can see. They're actually very distinctly pointy, but still beautiful. Also, there's a big dang fish that swims around in the water. Now, it does try and like eat you, but that's so cool. I loved this region. This is my favorite region in all of Sekiro. It might be one of my favorite regions in any video game, just like visually and vibe-wise. I love the Fountainhead Palace in Sekiro. Okay, next one. Is this one the last one? Oh, here's another photo. Pretty. Nope. I'm gonna say that every time. Here we go. Another tropical. Look at the tiers. Not really domed buildings. You can kind of make an argument for some of the ones in the background. But New Devon and Uncharted 4, Thieves' End. Yeah, it's a fixer-upper. That's putting it mildly. It's ruins. It's ruins. Probably most of the ruins are completely and utterly, irredeemable and unsavable. That said, man, I just love this game. But also, this region I was so stunned by, and I thought, if I was going to settle down somewhere in any ruins, this wouldn't be a bad place to do it. You settle down, it's a fixer-upper, but you make it work, and think about all the exploring you could do. All the exploring. I love that. It's like my favorite thing ever. Okay, this is the last one. The Highland, I call them Highlands. I don't actually know if they're even called that in the game, but this region in Death Stranding is probably my favorite visually, it's just my favorite constructed environment in all of video games. I love the Highlands in Death Stranding. I do not know. No, we're going to figure out why. I will know exactly why. I think I do. Much of Death Stranding is this, especially early on in the game. And I know that this is based off of real, terrain. I'm pretty sure that this harkens a lot to some of the imagery that I've seen of like northern Europe, like Scotland and Ireland a little bit. I could be wrong. You get a lot of the really high plateau. It's kind of wet, moist, and there's a lot of like humidity, but it's not tropical. It's colder, a little more temperate and colder. So I don't know what that is, but I've always been drawn to this environment. I think this is one of the most beautiful and striking environments in any video game ever. I think that Death Stranding gets a bad rap. I understand why. And the gameplay isn't for everybody. Even myself, I've bounced off the gameplay, but I have never for a single second thought that its visuals were lacking in any way, shape, or form. I could and have walked around the environment of Death Stranding for hours, just in awe of how it feels and how it looks. But in this region in particular, with these misty moor kind of vibes, I love it. I love it so much. I love all the rocks everywhere and the very shallow rivers that run through and the creeks, and it's kind of muddy and wet and mossy, and I can just picture the texture of the ground. I know it would be spongy. I love it. I think it's so cool. It's a weird pick and definitely is totally different from some of like the cozy ones, you know, like Hateno or the other villages or Animal Crossing or whatever. But I don't know, man. Something about the Highlands in Death Stranding. They're my favorite. Yep. Oh, flashbang. And that's it. That is my silly little slideshow of places that I love and would consider living at. So we're going to leave that there for now. It's been a pleasure. I'd love to hear other people's locations because there's so many I could have picked. And I had a much harder time with this one than the Crush one, the Hot Babe one, of like narrowing down what I really liked because there were so many places I thought. So if there's any ones that you were like, oh man, I would live there, I would like that, and it's fun to like really think outside the box a little bit because obviously there's like some of those cities and towns, but it's fun to think and say, where would I live that isn't populated? Where would I live that isn't established? So just a fun little thought experiment. But yeah, we'll call it there for now. Okay, bye.